Welcome on in to this week's session. We're going to be talking all things post today. I've got some really great strategies for you guys, and I've got a little reel walkthrough to do with you as well. So jump over to that chat, say hello, let me know, first of all, that you can hear and see me okay, and I'd love to know where in the world you guys are joining me from. I can see we've got Sylvie here from Moncton. We have got Artie from Perth, Australia. Todd from Vancouver. Great to see you, Todd. Amanat from Winnipeg in Canada. Great to see you guys. We've got a few Canadians here. Emma in Vancouver, Regina in Brisbane, and I'm going to pull up our accelerators over so I can see you guys as well, just to make sure all of that is working. Alrighty, here we go. So guys, like I said, welcome on in. We're going to be talking today about our post for the week. This is a strategy that I've been having a lot of fun doing with you. In the past, we would just talk something social media strategy or business strategy each week. But what I really wanted to do was build up your library, I suppose, and do a lot of the hard work and thinking for you based on what's working right now. And so today we're going to be talking about a posting strategy that I think I'm going to give you 7 posting strategies, but I'm talking about a posting theme, if you like, that you can insert into your strategies that I think is a very important one for all of you to be including. So remembering that your social media is supposed to do a mixture of things. You want your social media to seed people and remind people of who you are, what you do, and what's in it for them, right? They're the most important things you want to be doing. But what you also want to be doing is you want to be kind of normalizing your business and your products. You want to be seeding them without selling them. We want to build relationships and we want to generate leads. And your social media all of the time should be doing 3 things. If any of you have read my book, you've read about the CARE method. And I want to quickly speak into that because each week you'll notice that I'm giving you various different strategies that will do one or all of the 3 things I'm about to mention. The CARE method is C, the A, the R, and then the E. The E is execution. That's the most important part. And that's why every week I'm giving you strategies to implement, because if you're not implementing, then you're not gaining anything, right? And I had a couple of coaching calls this week where I was a little frustrated to hear that people were doing the learning, but they weren't doing the implementing. And you're not going to get results if you simply come along to these trainings and listen. So I really want to encourage you each week, implement something, right? It doesn't have to be everything. In fact, it shouldn't be. That's really overwhelming. But you need to be implementing something. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do that in a really simple way. This is about where you're at. You don't need to do more than what you're capable of right now. I want you to each week just ask yourself, what's one little thing I can do to grow myself this week? What's one little thing I can do to step outside of my comfort zone? What's one little thing that I can do this week that's going to move the needle just a little? We call that the 1 degree shift. It's not about moving mountains. It's about doing little things consistently. So let's talk about the C, the A, and the R now. The C, the A, and the R are where your content on social media should be doing these 3 things. The first thing it should be doing is connecting. Connecting with people you've already come in contact with. Some you know are watching and others you don't. But what you want to do is have your social media to lead to connection. So when you put a post up, it turns into conversations, it turns into connections, it turns into those interactions that the platforms are absolutely prioritizing right now. If you are a social media user, you are being rewarded. So connecting is really important. The second is the A, and that is attracting. All of the time, we should have content going out there that is attracting new people to us, that has people coming in and leaning in and going, I want to watch a little bit more of what Sanella or Priscilla or Laura Lynn or Andera are up to. You want them to want to come back and look at your posts. And of course, when they do look at your posts, the platform is going to show it to them more and more and more. Ever see that happen on your feed where you happen to look at one person's content once, you sit on a reel for a few extra seconds, and suddenly you're delivered content from them every day? And so that happens because you're showing people that you're interested in what they're doing. You're showing the algorithm that you're interested, and you need people to do that for you as well. So that's the A. You always want to attract new people. And I've got a strategy in here today that many of you have seen before, but I want to encourage you to use this one again because this should be a regular occurrence for you and it will help you generate new leads all of the time. The last one is the R. And the R is something a lot of people forget to incorporate into thetheir strategies each week, but that's retention. A lot of you are focused all the time on attracting new people and converting people. So, getting them to go from watching your stuff to doing something with you. But what about the people that have done things with you before? What about the people who are already team, already customers, already following you and have been around for a while? Those people are your greatest advocates. Think about them as your own micro influencers. These are the people that shout about you from the rooftops if you look after them. They're the people who will tell other people about you. They're the people who will, at a coffee with a friend, go, "Hey, have you met? Do you know? Have you watched?" So, retention is very important. If you're not putting any focus on retention, I can tell you right now, you're working harder than you need to, because it is 6 times more expensive and more time consuming to attract a new lead than it is to look after an old one and have them come back again and reorder or rebook or do more with you. Your existing customer base, your existing team are your greatest advocates. So take good care of them. That means putting up content that they also care about, right? So we want to be thinking about those people as well. So as we go into this week's strategies, I've got 7 for you again, plus a bonus reel, and I'm going to show you how to do this one. It's a really quick, easy, fun one that you can do. So let's get stuck in. Now, I will pre-warn you, my slides did something weird today, and I don't know what it is, but I can't undo it. So you guys are just going to be super patient with me and just say it's not Sam's fault, it's the technology, right? Because it's glitching on me. Here's the glitch, right? It's, I don't know why, but it's putting text on top of text, and it didn't matter how many times I undid it and redid it, it kept doing it. So we're just going to roll with the punches because I can tell you what it says. So today is all about identity and relatability. So we're going to be today focusing on, I'm just going to get rid of this off here so I can see what I'm doing. Today, we're going to be focusing on what I like to call the "this is me" strategy. Now, this one's very important for a number of reasons. The thing is that people are going to be asking themselves before they buy, do I like this person? Do I trust her or him? And most importantly, could this be me? Now we've talked a few times about the middle, okay? Where a lot of people focus on their social media is the start and the finish. Okay, this is where I started. This is where I am now. This is where I began. This is what happened. This is my before. This is my after. What people really want to know is, what did the middle look like? And is that person, is that story going to be similar to my own? So think about your experiences. Let's say that you've gone on a weight loss journey before. Yes, the before and the after is important, but what's the first question you're going to ask yourself before you embark on a weight loss journey? It's, what is the journey going to look like for me? Whereas a lot of people will promote the before and the after, they don't talk about the middle. What you want to know is the same thing your audience wants to know, which is, are they like me? And what was their journey like? And what will my journey be like? So, what most people do when they're posting on social media is fully focus on the hiding behind tips, hiding behind product posts, hiding behind business posts, or only asking questions. But the thing that's often missing when you do that is you. They don't just follow what you do, they follow who you are. And so today is going to be about giving you some strategies to help you do that in a way that feels right for you. So let's quickly go through the housekeeping of how to do this weekly posting strategy that we're going to do. I want you to, first of all, mix up your content. So don't just post everything as image with text. Think about different ways you can show up. Stories are also very important as well because they get the best real estate on the platforms. So do some reels, do some lives, try carousels. They're performing really well right now, and we're doing a few tutorials around that. And of course, your simple image with text, which is what most people tend to do. Remember as well that what I'm giving you today are templates, not scripts. So take the starters that I give you and use them as inspiration. But if the language I'm using doesn't feel right for you, don't post it. Okay. It needs to be you. This is so important. Also, you don't need to use all of the 7. Actually, I'm giving you 8 strategies today because we've got a bonus reel in there as well. You don't need to use all 8. You could, but I want you to pick 3 to 5 that feel like the right fit for you. And the whole idea is I'm giving you the content to post. So while in your membership with us, you get access, of course, to all of the strategies I'm telling you and teaching you everything I know. This weekly call is about me handing it to you and say, okay, great. Well, there's all of that, but I'm going to do the work for you as well. So here are the posts this week that are performing well, that are going to get you results. Go do those. So this is kind of like, if any of you have done a challenge with us before, this is me coming in and handing you the challenge content each week, right? I'm just doing the work, but it's relevant right now. And today's is no different. So you don't need to pick all 7 or 8. I want you to pick 3 to 5. And I'd love for you to share in the chat the ones that you're going to work with this week. And the other thing is that they don't need to be in the order I'm giving them to you as well. I'm giving you an order because I guess I'm going on a bit of a process here, but you can jump around, do what feels right for you. But no matter what, make sure that your red thread, your 3 core themes are weaved through whichever of the options you choose today. Okay, so you've done that training with me. If you haven't, that recording is available to you. We did it only a couple of weeks ago where I helped you find your red thread. So make sure that's woven throughout what you decide to do. Remember as well not to do the following. Don't give the farm away. Don't tell them everything they need to know. Don't be tempted to go hard at selling. A lot of the strategies I'm going to give you are seeding. They're sharing and selling without selling, but they will sell. So just trust the process here and don't go on rants. Anyone who gets highly controversial is potentially going to alienate people. Here's another little funny slide where it's gone a little weird. What that's supposed to say is CTA, which means call to action. So at the end of a post where it makes sense, and it won't always, but remember to bring the social in and ask another question where you can. And there's lots of ways that you can do this. Okay, let's get stuck in. We've got 8 strategies to go through today, and I want you guys to share with me in the chat which ones you're going to be playing with and using. So here's strategy number 1. Strategy number 1 is called This Is So Me. And this is an opportunity for you to share something about yourself that feels real, simple, and relatable. And I want you with this one to think about everyday behaviors, not just big life lessons. All right. So it doesn't have to be huge, it can be really simple. The purpose of this one is to build that identity and to create relatability. This week is very much about incorporating something we call commonality. I'm going to give you guys a quick little story about someone behind the scenes that I've had on my Hot 100 list for a couple of years now. This particular person is somebody who is a top leader with a company that we've been doing work with, but it's someone who I really admire, and I'd really love to get them on my podcast. I'd love to hear their story, and they've been doing some amazing things in the industry. However, this person has got I'm going to say probably 50,000 plus, maybe even closer to 100,000 people in their team. And so very busy human being. And they have mistaken me several times as I've reached out to them as just someone from their team. So I was thinking I could do what everyone else does, which is constantly just hound and hassle and send message after message about what I want, or I can bring in something that I've taught you guys many times before that will make you stand out. And that is something we call establishing commonality. Now, establishing commonality is very powerful because what it does is it creates this feeling of, oh, that's me too. We're similar, we're the same. And people want to do business and be friends with and connect with people they feel they've got something in common with. Think about all of your friends. Think about your family that you don't get along with. Usually the reason is you don't have a lot in common, right? It's the things that we have in common that build trust fast. So instead of going with the tactic of like what everyone else would do with this particular person, I know that this particular person has something very much in common with Greg and I in that he likes to water ski. But he hasn't water skied for a long time. This is like a past life for him. But I have done my research. I know a little about him. And so I said to Greg this morning, I need you to find a video or a photo of me when I was barefoot water skiing back before I hurt myself, and I don't do it anymore. But this person is a barefooter. So I said, what I want you to do is find a video or find a photograph of me barefooting. I'm going to send that to this person. But before I did, I sent an old, very, very old photo of this person that I had dug up and just complimented the fun times. And it's straight away, the person responded. Now, for months, I have not been able to get a response out of them. But suddenly they come back to me immediately. So this is an opportunity to establish commonality. And if you do this with people that you want to be your team or your customers, it's not manipulation, it's understanding how the human brain works, guys. And by the way, I do this with someone who I want to be friends with. I do it with someone in my family that I want to improve a relationship with. You talk about the things you have in common that they care about. And it's the same on social media. So here are a few ways that you can do this. A few little starters here that I've given you up on the screen to help you with this one, but it's a super simple, easy one. So Greg's in the chat here. You're never in the chat, and here you are heckling me right now. Okay. So here's strategy number 2 is to teach one thing. Now, this one, the strategy type is education and value. The objective is to provide value while creating that commonality, showing people how you think. What's going to happen when you do this is people are going to lean in and go, "Oh, I think like that too," or that's a bit like me, or I could see myself doing that, or that relates to me. So here are a few ideas for you. First one is, this is how I. Here's another one. This is such a cool way too. It's changed XYZ for me. So I'll give you an example here. I'm going to do this post up a little later on today. This is such a cool way to reduce waste in your pantry and your fridge. It's changed. And I'll probably say something like, this is saving me hundreds of dollars a week. I simply tell ChatGPT what is in my pantry, what is in my fridge, and I ask it to help me create meals each night based on what I have, so I don't keep doubling up on ingredients, and it saves it in its memory. And then what I could do if I wanted to is turn that into a lead magnet. If anyone wants my prompt so they can do this too, just shout out and I'll happily send this to you. It's providing value, it's teaching something, but it's also creating this situation where you might be going, "Oh my gosh, I do that too. I waste things. I've got, wilted lettuce and cabbage and whatever in my fridge that I forget about." Or I'm that person who buys 5 packets of cumin powder before I remember that I actually already had one. And now I've got all of this cumin that I've got to figure out how to use. So yes, true story. Here's another one. This has worked for me so well. So share something that's worked for you so well. Again, it's teaching something, it's adding value, but it's also sharing with people who you are. And then I can't believe I've only just discovered this. Again, a little behind the scenes, but it's also about you, right? And providing value. Okay. The turquoise writing is so hard to read, Michelle. Don't worry, I'm reading it out to you. It simply says the strategy type is education and value. The objective is providing value while showing how you think. I will change the color next week, I promise. Okay, next one is strategy 3, behind the scenes. This one should almost be like a weekly occurrence for you guys. I want you to is so hard to read, Michelle. Don't worry, I'm reading it out to you. It simply says the strategy type is education and value. The objective is providing. One should almost be like a weekly occurrence for you guys. I want you to think with this one about things like your workspace, your routine, your life, your process. And remember, with this one, it can be very much minimal explanation. This one could be much more about the image and a lot less about the text. The strategy here is real life and relatable. The objective is to build closeness and trust, and through what we've already talked about, commonality. Because again, people are seeing what you're doing behind the scenes and they're suddenly connecting. Now, this is a really great way as well to share things that people don't know about you. A lot of people would assume, and I get a lot of people saying things to me like, how do you do it all? Oh my gosh, how, like, you're like a super mom. I hate that word. I've told you guys that before. I hate that word because I'm not a super mom. I make all the same mistakes everyone else makes. So it's a good opportunity for me, and I do this often, to share the behind the scenes that break that barrier down, because that's a place where people don't feel they've got something in common with me. It's a place where people say, well, I couldn't do that because I'm not like you. Ever heard that before? That won't work for me because I'm not like you. If you ever hear someone say that, it's a hint that you probably need to break some barriers down. So for me, it's sharing the crazy things that go on in my world that are just like everybody else. Probably one of the most interacted with posts I ever put up was the one, some of you guys might remember this, about a year ago now, I shared my worst travel experience ever. Addie developed a vomiting bug minutes before we hopped on an international flight. And just as we got on the plane and just as the turbulence hit and they told everyone to buckle their seatbelts and not get up, Addie projectile vomited all over me. She was in the front pack, so she was connected to me, and she literally vomited all over me, and it went all down my front. It went everywhere. And it was the same moment that we discovered that the airline had left our carry-on luggage behind. It was in one of those little planes where they'd tucked it in the front. We didn't have it with us. So all of my spare clothes, which I always carry on the plane with me, were gone. And I had to wait in the LAX airport with Addie on my front, trying to get her to sleep with, like, I was coated, right? And I had no spare clothes, no spare underwear, and the front pack she was in was also covered. So I'm in the toilets, not in the toilets, in the bathrooms, in the sink, trying to wash with the hand soap the front pack while drying it under the hand dryer, because we're about to get on another international flight and I didn't want that to still be coated. And so I put up a post with Addie asleep on my front, me just, I think it said something like, I can't believe that I haven't cried yet. I'm like so proud of myself. And I shared this story. Now, that had so many people leaning in going, oh my goodness, something similar happened to me. Or they're seeing this, not this glamorous traveling experience that they're constantly seeing me posting about, but they're seeing the unglamorous part too. And so those little tiny bits where you break those barriers down and you share those little moments, you don't have to share your entire life, by the way, guys. It is just about sharing the moments that help people connect with you. And in that moment, the amount of people that connected with me, and I got all these beautiful messages, and I had so many people reaching out saying, like, you just feel like a normal mum like me in this moment. And I love that. And it just created that trust. It wasn't manipulative. It wasn't calculated. It was simply sharing because I wanted people to see that you and I are just the same. We have the same life experiences. We have the same parenting experiences. We have the same business experiences. It's just that I might be in a slightly different place in my business to where you may be right now. Maybe you are way further ahead than where I am. Who knows? But it's about building that relationship. So, here are a couple of little starters for you. How this actually looks behind the scenes when a little sneak peek. Not glamorous, but real. These are just a couple of little caption starters just to prompt that thinking here. I want you guys to tell me in the chat which ones you're going to be using. I want to know what you're excited to use here this week and what you're committing to do, right? I want to hear what you guys are going to do. All right. Strategy number 4, micro story. This one is all about building connection, building emotion, and the objective is about trust and relatability. Now, a lot of what I've already shared with you could be considered a micro story, but this in itself is its own strategy. And a micro story is different to a story because it's a tiny little bit, and you can tell a micro story in a one-liner or even just with the image. You can also do it with a reel as well. You could simply, the second one I've got here could be all you say, and then you use your image or your video. So I've got one actually that I'm going to insert in my reel a little later on when we do this together, of Addie. I had some blackberries in my hands the other day, and Addie calls them tree lollies. And I held out, I picked them and held my hand out, expecting her to take one. And she reached in, grabbed the whole lot, and shoved them in her mouth before I could stop her. And I got a little video of it. So I could simply share a funny moment I wanted to share. That's all the text, and then let the video do the talking. So you've probably got lots of things here that you could play with. Another one that I've got here is once upon a time I thought X. I don't think that way anymore. It could be once upon a time I used to think this about myself. I don't think that way anymore. And so again, these are just little prompters to kind of give you guys some ideas here. Next one is strategy number 5, my day. This one is about soft seeding and normalizing your product or your business. So again, this could be considered behind the scenes, but you can use this one in lots of different ways. And a really cool idea here, and we mentioned this last week, is you could create a list here, because any post that is savable is very, very powerful. Okay, so Lean has just asked the question, I'm so overwhelmed sometimes and take hours to think of an image. Anyone have any tips? Yes, I'm going to give you a tip in a little moment, show you something I just did to help you with this. So I want you to think, Lena, and anyone else who might be feeling the same way, not about the image first, but about the strategy first. The image will follow. But what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is categorize your images into folders whenever you get a chance. So if you're sitting on the couch at night and you're scrolling, little hands up, anyone here who is a scroller. Okay, if you're a scroller, I want you, anytime you catch yourself doing it, to go, you know what? I'm not going to deny myself the scroll, but if I'm going to do it, I'm going to spend the first 5 minutes categorizing some images so I'm not totally wasting my next half an hour or whatever it is, whatever time you use scrolling, right? Lots of hands up going here right now. You guys are scrollers. I get it. I scroll too. But before you do, catch yourself, stop, go. It's time to create an album. And so what you're going to do, and I'll show you this in a little moment once we get through the next 2 strategies, how to create yourself an album using the images you have, so that when each week you come to me and you do this live with me and you get a strategy that you're thinking, I'm going to use that one, you've got an album ready to roll. So you're not thinking, what photo will I take? You've already got a gallery graveyard, right? You've already got millions of photos and videos that potentially could work for you. But I'm also want to train you guys to start thinking ahead. So if I go to the beach, I will generally grab a few basic videos and photographs that I don't even know what I need them for yet, but that will be useful. So a few things of, remember, human elements, really important, really valuable. So I might do things like, I might get a couple of photos of my feet in the sand. I might get, sit down and have my feet in the waves and get a photo of that. I might do a little thumbs up and take a photo of the water with my thumb. I might get a little selfie with the ocean in the background, or a side photo. They work really well for like thought-provoking posts. So a selfie this way, so you don't have me looking at the camera. You might even, a really cool idea is, whenever you've got a location that works for this, outside is great, but people will follow your eyes. And a lot of people assume I need to look at the camera for every photo, but a really powerful one is actually to look away. So it's front on, but you're looking up and sort of in a direction. Now, the reason this can be really powerful is because if you're creating any kind of an image with text, or you're doing a reel or a carousel, you can have the text so that it looks like you're looking at it, and it draws people's attention to the text. You'll see these a little bit when you see my carousels. I'll often do that, where I'll point at a spot in the screen, and they're just random pictures I've taken and saved to a folder called carousel images. And I'll recycle them lots of times and use them for various different things. They're very handy. So just start to get in the habit of taking images and getting a little bit creative when you're out and about. Okay, strategy number 6, a question I was asked. The strategy here is authority and seeding, and the objective here is value and sparking curiosity. Okay, so this one will help you establish credibility and authority. So just think back to some questions that you've recently been asked. Keep this one real and conversational. And remember, something that one person might have asked, probably many people are thinking it. So here are a couple of little prompters for you. A great question I was asked, a great conversation I had yesterday about, or someone asked this and it made me think. So this is another cool way that you can do this as well. All right, let's go to strategy number 7 before we go into our reel. I hinted at this one. This is a strategy I think you need to be using regularly. By regularly, I'd say once every 1 to 2 weeks. This is how you generate leads and also provide value. So the strategy is lead generation. The objective is to start conversations offline. And remember, Facebook and Instagram are favoring people that create what we call conversation loops. That is people who start conversation under the post and leads to the inbox. So that's what a lead magnet does. So remember I said to you before the idea of the ChatGPT prompt, for example, for my pantry. Now, one of the things I know about you guys is that a lot of you are like me, you are a working parent, and you've got lots of other things going on in your world. And so, by the way, some of you I know have fur babies. I still count that as a parent. But the bottom line is that for a lot of you, you might benefit from that. A few of you said in the chat just when I mentioned it, I'd be interested in that lead magnet, right? So I could put the post up and say, hey, this has worked so well for me. If anyone wants the prompt, just let me know. Now, the cool part about this is I don't actually need to go into Canva and create something fancy. All I do is go into my notes in my phone and save the prompt that I've created for ChatGPT to do this and a couple of step-by-step instructions, like copy paste this, then tell ChatGPT everything that's in your pantry and your fridge, just go through it and talk to it, and then send it this prompt. Give them the instructions. You copy and paste it from your notes. It doesn't need to be pretty. And you just send it to them privately in Messenger. So don't overthink this one, guys. Lead magnets are really simple and really valuable. So here are a few little prompters for this one. I've put together a quick XYZ that's helped me personally with. So I could do that ChatGPT one with that. People keep asking me for. This could be a recipe, it could be a how-to, it could be a tip, it could be you might be really good at wrapping gifts that are awkward shapes, right? And you might say, people keep asking me for my instructions on how to wrap a bowl or how to wrap whatever. So I've done a little video tutorial. If anyone wants it, just let me know and I'll flick it through. Record it on your phone. Don't make this complicated and just send it privately in Messenger. It could be a recipe. It could be a how-to. It could be tips on wardrobe. There's no right or wrong here, but it's about things you would have in common with your audience and providing value in that space. I've been sharing this with a few people. If you want it, let me know. So a really good thing to think about here is what is something that people commonly ask me for. Now, it might be people commonly ask you for a recipe or a how-to. That's pretty common. That's pretty normal. It might be people often ask you how you stay fit. It might be that people commonly ask you how you lost weight, and you might want to share some
कुछ जानकारी साझा करना चाहें, ये बहुत सी अलग-अलग चीज़ें हो सकती हैं। मैं कैसे पैक करता हूँ? कोई मुझसे ये सवाल नहीं पूछेगा क्योंकि वे जानते हैं कि मैं ज़्यादा सामान पैक करता हूँ, लेकिन आप समझ गए होंगे। और फिर आखिरी बात ये है, ये मेरे लिए एक गेम चेंजर रहा है। अगर किसी को चाहिए तो खुशी से साझा करूँगा। तो बस कुछ छोटे संकेत आपको शुरू करने के लिए। ठीक है, तो अब जब हमने आपको ये दिए हैं, हम करने जा रहे हैं एक छोटा बोनस रील आइडिया यहाँ और मैं आपको इसके माध्यम से ले जाऊँगा क्योंकि मैं आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ कि इसे इतनी जल्दी और सरलता से कैसे करना है। लेकिन जो विषय मैंने आपको इस सप्ताह के लिए दिया है, वह है ये मैं हूँ हाल ही में। और फिर से ये आपके लिए दीवारों को तोड़ने का एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका है और इस बार मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप यात्रा, आराम, काम, उत्पाद, मज़ा के बारे में सोचें। मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप परिवार के बारे में सोचें। उन सभी चीज़ों के बारे में सोचें जो आपके लक्षित ग्राहक के साथ आपकी समान हैं। अब आप कैमरे से बात करके ये कर सकते हैं। हमने पहले भी ऐसा किया है। या आप एक टेम्पलेट ले सकते हैं और मैं आपको इसके माध्यम से ले जाऊँगा और आप अपने चित्रों के साथ एक टेम्पलेट का उपयोग कर सकते हैं। सो उस शानदार प्रश्न का उत्तर देने के लिए जो पहले पूछा गया था, आप जानते हैं लीना द्वारा चित्रों के बारे में मैं आपको यहाँ कुछ जल्दी से दिखाना चाहता हूँ। हूँ, तो आपके फ़ोन की लाइब्रेरी में इसे करने का एक बहुत ही सरल तरीका है और यही आप अगली बार स्क्रॉल करने पर करने वाले हैं, सही? आप इसे करने में सिर्फ़ 3 से 5 मिनट खर्च करेंगे। आप अपनी लाइब्रेरी में जाएँगे, आप यहाँ चयन बटन पर क्लिक करेंगे और फिर उन छवियों को टैप करेंगे जिन्हें आप एक फ़ोल्डर में डालने जा रहे हैं। बस अपनी गैलरी में वापस जाएँ और कहें, ठीक है। मैं अपनी सेल्फी की तस्वीरों का एक फ़ोल्डर बनाने जा रहा हूँ या कैरोसेल स्टाइल की तस्वीरों का या बस आप कर सकते हैं मेरे पास एक है जो सिर्फ़ सोशल मीडिया इमेजेस कहता है। मुझे अभी तक नहीं पता कि मैं उनका उपयोग किस लिए करना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन वह फ़ोल्डर है। फिर आपको यहाँ नीचे जाना है और उस छोटे बटन को टैप करना है और आपको एल्बम में जोड़ने के लिए जाना है। और आप इसे या तो किसी मौजूदा एल्बम में जोड़ सकते हैं, आप देख सकते हैं कि मेरे पास यहाँ बहुत सारे हैं, या आप इस छोटे प्लस को दबाकर एक नया बना सकते हैं और उसे लेबल कर सकते हैं। अब मैंने ये किया, ठीक पहले जब हम लाइव गए, इसमें मुझे 5 मिनट लगे और मैंने यहाँ एक पूरा फ़ोल्डर बना लिया। तो मैं बस इसे रोकने जा रहा हूँ ताकि हम नहीं और मैं आपको वह फ़ोल्डर दिखाने जा रहा हूँ ताकि आप लोग समझ सकें कि मेरा क्या मतलब है। तो मैंने इसे ये हूँ मैं हाल ही में मार्च 26 नाम दिया है और इसमें वे सभी चित्र हैं जिन्हें मैं संभवतः उसमें शामिल कर सकता था। और फिर मैं इसे बाद में पुनः नाम दे सकता हूँ या बदल सकता हूँ या जो भी। तो मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ कि मैं इस एल्बम का उपयोग कैसे करने वाला हूँ, कुछ ही सेकंड में एक बहुत ही सरल रील बनाने के लिए जो आपके बारे में थोड़ा साझा करने में मदद करेगी। और चलिए इसे पूरी तरह से करते हैं, चलिए इसे अभी पोस्ट करते हैं ताकि आप देख सकें कि ये कितना सरल और आसान है। तो मैं इसे इंस्टाग्राम में करने जा रहा हूँ लेकिन मैंने आपको कुछ बार दिखाया है कैसे एडिट्स ऐप का उपयोग करना है, आप इसे वहाँ भी कर सकते हैं। लेकिन मैं इसे इंस्टाग्राम में इसलिए करने जा रहा हूँ क्योंकि फिर मैं इसे अपनी गैलरी में डाउनलोड करूँगा और फिर से इसे फ़ेसबुक में अपलोड करूँगा। मैं आपको ये दिखाऊँगा क्योंकि मुझे इंस्टाग्राम में ये चीज़ें बनाना थोड़ा आसान लगता है। तो हम यहाँ ऊपर छोटे प्लस पे जाएँगे और जब आप प्लस पे जाते हैं, तो आपको टेम्पलेट्स दिखाई देंगे। तो मैं वॉल्यूम बंद कर दूँगा, मैं टेम्पलेट्स पे जाऊँगा और आपको बस स्क्रॉल करना है और एक टेम्पलेट ढूँढना है जो आपके लिए काम करे। तो चलिए इसे चुनते हैं। और नीचे यहाँ देखिए आपके पास ये सारे छोटे प्लस हैं, तो हम बस इतना करेंगे कि मीडिया जोड़े पर क्लिक करेंगे और फिर मैं एल्बम्स में जाऊँगा और उस एल्बम में जाऊँगा और मैं सचमुच कुछ फ़ोटो लेने वाला हूँ। और वैसे आप फ़ोटो और वीडियो का मिश्रण कर सकते हैं। चलिए मैं सचमुच चीज़ें डाल रहा हूँ। देखिए ये कितना सरल है दोस्तों। ये जटिल नहीं है, वैसे ये एडी का है और सौभाग्य से देखो मैंने गलती से उसे 1 में डाल दिया जो थोड़ा लंबा था। देखो वे सब कैसे हैं जैसे 0.7 0.3 ये वाला 1.3 है जिसका मतलब है कि ये थोड़ा लंबा चलेगा, वीडियो के लिए बिल्कुल सही है और संयोग से एडी का ब्लैकबेरी पकड़ने वाला वीडियो वही है जो मैंने अभी उसमें डाला है, तो ये अच्छी तरह से काम करता है। चलते रहो क्योंकि ये अभी भी दे रहा है। जैसे ही ये खत्म हो जाएँगे, ये मुझे और अपलोड करने नहीं देगा, लेकिन मेरे पास अभी भी इनके लिए जगह है। चलो वो वाला करते हैं। हमारे पास यहाँ समुद्र तट का एक है। हमारे पास वास्तव में एक फ़ोटो शूट के दौरान का कुछ पर्दे के पीछे का हिस्सा है। क्या हम खत्म हो गए? मुझे लगता है कि हम खत्म हो गए। हाँ, हम खत्म हो गए। तो क्लिप सीमा पहुँच गई। ठीक है। अब अगर मैं चाहूँ तो मैं एक हटा सकता हूँ। तो मैं अगला दबाने जा रहा हूँ और अगर मैं चाहूँ तो एक को हटाना या बदलना चाहूँ तो मैं आसानी से कर सकता हूँ, सही? तो मैं यहाँ अगला पर क्लिक करने जा रहा हूँ और हम वीडियो संपादित करने जा रहे हैं और यहाँ आप कुछ बदल सकते हैं, आप बदल सकते हैं। देखिए मैंने अंडे वाले पर क्लिक किया। मैं अंडे वाले को उस वाले से बदलना चाहता हूँ जिसमें हम फ़ोटो शूट कर रहे थे बस पर्दे के पीछे। अच्छा, ये ठीक रहेगा। तो चलिए जल्दी से आपको दिखाते हैं कि ये कैसे काम करता है। ठीक है, ये हमारा दिस इज़ मी लेटली रील है, वहाँ एडी है जो पर्दे के पीछे ब्लैकबेरी ले रही है, सही? तो बहुत ही सरल। अब आप यहाँ थोड़ी कल्पनाशीलता दिखा सकते हैं, आप कुछ संपादन कर सकते हैं अगर आप चाहें तो। मैं वास्तव में मैं बस देखना चाहता हूँ कि क्या मैं इसे जल्दी से संपादित कर सकता हूँ? मैं वास्तव में इसे थोड़ा बदलना चाहता हूँ। देखो, ये ब्लैकबेरी वाला है, मैं उसे उनके मुँह में डालते हुए दिखाना चाहता हूँ। देखा आपने? ठीक है, तो मैं इसे थोड़ा छोटा करने जा रहा हूँ।
ठीक है।
तो यहाँ हमारा छोटा वीडियो है, सही है, सब कुछ तैयार, सब कुछ हो गया। अगर मैं चाहूँ तो मैं कहीं भी कुछ टेक्स्ट जोड़ सकता हूँ, तो मैं थोड़ा टेक्स्ट जोड़ूँगा और मैं बस कहूँगा हाल ही में हमारे कुछ पर्दे के पीछे वो ठीक रहेगा। ये नहीं, फिर से चलो नहीं। मुश्किल होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। हो गया, ठीक है, इसे वहाँ रख देते हैं, हो गया। और मैं इसे हटा रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं चाहता हूँ कि ये वीडियो की शुरुआत में हो, अंत में नहीं। तो मैं बस इसे अपनी उँगली से पकड़ कर खींच रहा हूँ, जहाँ मैं इसे ले जाना चाहता हूँ और फिर यहाँ भी यही कर रहा हूँ। तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि ये बस वीडियो की शुरुआत में हो। बस पहले कुछ सेकंड के लिए मैं इसे थोड़ा लंबा कर दूँगा। ठीक है। तो जब हम इससे खुश हैं और हमारे पास इसके साथ ऑडियो है, मैंने इसे बंद कर दिया क्योंकि ये थोड़ा तेज था। तो मैं आपको फिर से दिखाता हूँ। मुझे नहीं पता कि आप लोग इसे सुन सकते हैं या नहीं। हमारे चित्रों में पुरानी तस्वीरें बन जाएँगी, हम सब चले जाएँगे, ठीक है। तो अगर मैं उस ऑडियो को बदलना चाहता तो कर सकता था, लेकिन यह उतना ही सरल है जितना कि मैं यहाँ एक छोटा कैप्शन जोड़ रहा हूँ, जो शायद हमारा हाल का एक छोटा स्नैपशॉट हो सकता है। ठीक है, फिर से, इसे जटिल होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। तो एक छोटा-सा सुझाव किसी ने मुझसे पिछले हफ़्ते ये पूछा था, तो मैं इसे आप लोगों को फिर से देने जा रहा हूँ कि एक स्थान डालें। अब आपका स्थान आपका घर नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं आम तौर पर अपना स्थान डालता हूँ। ये सिर्फ़ तस्मानिया हो सकता है या ये मेरा शहर हो सकता है। कारण यह है कि प्लेटफ़ॉर्म वास्तव में उस सामग्री को प्राथमिकता दे रहे हैं जिसमें स्थान शामिल हैं, क्योंकि उन्होंने कुछ विशेषताएँ जारी की हैं जहाँ स्थान का महत्व है। इसलिए मैं विशेष रूप से आपका पता नहीं डालूँगा, लेकिन अगर ये वीडियो के लिए प्रासंगिक है, तो मैं निश्चित रूप से एक सामान्य स्थान डालूँगा। और फिर जब आप तैयार हों, तो आप बस शेयर करने जा रहे हैं और आप हो गए। अब मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से शायद इसे संपादित करने और परिपूर्ण बनाने में थोड़ा और समय लगाता, लेकिन बात ये है कि ये कितना सरल है। अब ये अपलोड हो गया है, वहाँ ये है, ये हो गया। वहाँ ये मुझे इसके बारे में ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं पड़ा, मुझे इसे ज़्यादा जटिल नहीं बनाना पड़ा। अब मैंने इसे उतना परफेक्ट नहीं किया जितना मैं चाहता था और ये मुझे अभी थोड़ा परेशान कर रहा है, लेकिन मैं इसे छोड़ने वाला हूँ क्योंकि मैं वास्तव में आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ और थोड़ी देर में देखना चाहता हूँ कि वह पोस्ट कैसे करती है। मैं लगभग गारंटी देता हूँ कि क्योंकि ये कम परफेक्ट था, ये बहुत अच्छा करेगा। अब दूसरी बात ये है और मैंने आपको ये नहीं दिखाया इससे पहले कि हमने इसे किया, लेकिन पोस्ट करने से पहले मुझे इसे डाउनलोड कर लेना चाहिए था। ये कुछ ऐसा है जिसे मैं कभी-कभी भूल जाता हूँ। तो अगर आप इसे डाउनलोड करते हैं दोस्तों, आप वास्तव में इसे अपने और ये बाद में करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है, कभी-कभी आप कर सकते हैं। अब ये मुझे करने नहीं दे रहा है। अगर आप इसे डाउनलोड करके सेव कर लेते हैं, तो आपके पास ये गैलरी में होगा, जिसे आप फ़ेसबुक पर अपलोड कर सकते हैं। लेकिन आपने देखा कि ये कितना जल्दी और आसान था, तो अगर मैं चाहूँ, तो इसे बहुत जल्दी से फिर से बना सकता हूँ और फिर फ़ेसबुक पर अपलोड कर सकता हूँ। लेकिन अगर आप ऐसा करने की आदत डाल लेते हैं, मैं अभी सब कुछ एक साथ सिखा और कर रहा हूँ, तो आपके पास कई जगहों पर उपयोग करने के लिए एक सामग्री का टुकड़ा होगा। तो देखा कितना आसान था, बस टेम्पलेट्स का उपयोग करके। ये ड्रैग और ड्रॉप था। सो रील्स को और मुझे लगता है कि ये गलतफ़हमी है कि उन्हें बहुत जटिल होना चाहिए कि आपको चीज़ों को संपादित करना और इधर-उधर करना होगा। जैसे मैंने अभी थोड़ी-सी संपादन की, लेकिन आपको वह भी करने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी जो मैंने किया, ठीक है? सो इन सब बातों के साथ चलिए आज के सत्र को जल्दी से समाप्त करते हैं क्योंकि मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप लोग कुछ बनाएँ। तो चलिए हम अभी तक जो बात की है उसे लागू करने के तरीके को संक्षेप में दोहराते हैं। तो आज की 3 से 5 रणनीतियाँ चुनें, उन्हें अपने सप्ताह की ऊर्जा के साथ मिलाएँ और फिर आप इनमें से 1 या 2 या दोनों चीज़ें कर सकते हैं। आप या तो लाइव पोस्ट कर सकते हैं जैसे मैंने अभी किया, या आप 1 या 2 पहले से बना सकते हैं और उन्हें बाद के लिए सहेज सकते हैं या शेड्यूल कर सकते हैं। अब जीवन होता है दोस्तों, मैं शेड्यूलिंग का बड़ा प्रशंसक हूँ। जब आप व्यस्त होने वाले होते हैं, तो बस ये ना कहें, "ओह! मैं उस दिन या समय पर पोस्ट करूँगा।" कुछ सामग्री तैयार रखें क्योंकि आप बहुत व्यस्त हो सकते हैं और फिर इससे पहले कि आप जानें, 1 या 2 सप्ताह बीत चुके होते हैं और आपने कुछ भी पोस्ट नहीं किया होता। आपको अभी भी लोगों की फ़ीड में रहना चाहिए, आपको बीज बोते रहना चाहिए, आपको वहाँ होना चाहिए। अगर आप वहां नहीं हैं तो वे आपके बारे में नहीं जान पाएंगे। सुनिश्चित करें कि आप अपनी खुद की छवियां और अपने खुद के शब्दों का उपयोग करें। ठीक है, कृपया स्टॉक छवियों का उपयोग करने के लिए प्रलोभित ना हो, या आप नहीं हैं और मेरे शब्दों का उपयोग करने के लिए प्रलोभित ना हो बिना उन्हें आपके जैसा बनाए। गैर से लिखिए मैंने, और अंत में लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण टिप्पणियों का जवाब दें। तो सुनीता कहती हैं, क्या हम इन पोस्ट्स के साथ व्यापार की जानकारी भी पोस्ट कर सकते हैं? एक हफ्ते में कितनी व्यापार पोस्ट? सुनीता, मैं वास्तव में आप लोगों को प्रोत्साहित करना चाहता हूं, जैसे सुनीता आप डैरेन और माइक के साथ हैं। मैं चाहता हूं कि आप डैरेन और माइक द्वारा बनाई गई पोस्ट्स को एक उदाहरण के रूप में देखें। डैरेन और माइक अपने अनुभव के माध्यम से व्यवसाय साझा करते हैं। वे यह नहीं कहते अरे कौन व्यापार का अवसर चाहता है और ये हमारे बेचते हैं। वे अपनी तस्वीरें साझा करते हैं जब वे कुछ कर रहे होते हैं, और फिर वे इस तरह से इसे प्रस्तुत करते हैं।
तो व्यापार पोस्ट के बजाय इसे व्यापार के बारे में एक जीवन शैली पोस्ट बनाएं।
जब आप ऐसा करते हैं तो लोगों का ध्यान आकर्षित करने की संभावना अधिक होती है। तो जहां तक सीधे व्यापार और प्रचार पोस्ट का सवाल है, मेरा नियम 99 में एक है, यानी आप 1% स्पष्ट रूप से सीधे बिक्री कर सकते हैं यदि आप चाहें, और 99% आपके दर्शकों के लिए मूल्यवान, शैक्षिक, दिलचस्प, मनोरंजक और प्रासंगिक होना चाहिए।
तो बस अपने बेचने के तरीके को बदलें। इसे इस तरह ना बनाएं कि यह व्यवसाय है, ये वह है जो मैं चाहता हूं कि आप करें, क्योंकि आमतौर पर आपने अभी तक ऐसा करने का अधिकार नहीं कमाया है। तो उम्मीद है कि ये समझ में आता है।
ठीक है, मैं बहुत उत्सुक हूँ आप लोगों के कोई भी प्रश्न सुनने के लिए जो आपके पास हो सकते हैं। बस समापन से पहले बस देखा कि कैरी ने कहा है, तो क्या फेसबुक पर प्रश्न का उत्तर मैसेंजर में देना बेहतर है? आप इसे 2 तरीकों से कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जो मैं पहले कह रहा था कैरी, वह यह है कि प्रश्न को एक पोस्ट आइडिया के रूप में उपयोग करें।
तो वास्तव में मैं आप लोगों को एक और छोटा-सा टिप दिखाना चाहता हूँ। मैं एक बार में अपने सभी टिप्स दे रहा हूँ, लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि ये एक बहुत ही शानदार टिप है, क्योंकि ये एक और तरीका है जिससे आप एक प्रश्न को सामग्री में बदल सकते हैं। तो अगर मैं वापस जाऊँ, मैं बस कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि किसी को ढूँढूँ जिसने मेरे द्वारा किए गए कुछ के साथ बातचीत की हो। तो चलिए यहाँ चलते हैं। उम, तो चलो मान लेते हैं, मैं चाहता हूँ, चलो मान लेते हैं कि यहाँ नैट लाइफ बाय डिजाइन की यह टिप्पणी एक सवाल है। अब मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ कि मैं जवाब दे दूं? मैं अभी इंस्टाग्राम में हूँ। यह फिलहाल केवल इंस्टाग्राम में एक फीचर है, लेकिन मेरा अनुमान है कि फेसबुक इसे किसी समय ला सकता है। आप जवाब पे क्लिक करें और देखें कि इसके बगल में एक छोटा कैमरा बटन है। देखिए, जब मैं उस पे क्लिक करता हूं तो क्या होता है।
ठीक है, इसे देखो। तो अब मैं अभी रिकॉर्ड नहीं कर रहा हूँ। रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए मुझे इसे दबाना और पकड़े रहना होगा, लेकिन देखो क्या हुआ है। उसका सवाल यहाँ स्क्रीन के ऊपर दिखाई दे रहा है। तो अब अगर मैं इसका जवाब रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ और मैं बात करता हूँ, मैं कहता हूँ, "अरे! नेट लाइफ बाय डिज़ाइन का बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। मैं बस जल्दी से इसका जवाब देना चाहता हूँ और मैं इसे जल्दी से समझाने जा रहा हूँ।" और फिर आप पोस्ट पर क्लिक करते हैं, तो वह एक रील के रूप में पोस्ट होता है। ये कितना अच्छा है, ये एक भयानक एंगल है।
ठीक है, तो चलो आप लोग मेरी स्क्रीन नहीं देख रहे हैं। ओह मेरे भगवान, मुझे बहुत खेद है।
ठीक है, चलो इसे फिर से करते हैं। ओह! फिर से कोशिश करते हैं। अच्छा, तो मैं बस ये सब ऐसे करने जा रहा हूँ जैसे कि आपने इसे पहले नहीं सुना हो या मैंने इसे पहले नहीं किया हो, जैसे कि हाँ, ठीक है। तो हाँ, मैं इसे साझा करना चाहता हूँ टॉड, धन्यवाद। तो चलिए करते हैं। हम फिर से इंस्टाग्राम में वापस आ गए हैं। मैं एक पोस्ट पर जा रहा हूँ जिसमें कुछ टिप्पणियाँ हैं। मैं उस पे क्लिक करने जा रहा हूँ। मैं नेट लाइफ बाय डिज़ाइन की छोटी टिप्पणी पर वापस जा रहा हूँ जो उसने लिखी थी। एक आ गया, यहाँ है, देखो। तो ऊपर हम मान लेंगे कि ये एक सवाल है, ठीक है? और मैं जो करने जा रहा हूँ वह है जवाब देना। और इसके बगल में आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ एक छोटा कैमरा आइकन है। तो मैं इसे दबा रहा हूँ और ये वही है जिसके बारे में मैं आपको बता रहा था जो आप पहले नहीं देख रहे थे। तो आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ ऊपर उसकी प्रश्न अपने आप ऊपर दिखाई दे रहा है। तो अब मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ कि मैं रिकॉर्ड दबा सकता हूँ। मैं बस उसे दबाऊँगा और वीडियो रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए उसे पकड़े रहूँगा, और जब मैं खत्म कर लूँगा तो वो मेरे इंस्टाग्राम पर एक रील के रूप में अपलोड हो जाएगा। ठीक है? तो एक बहुत ही सरल तरीका, जैसे मैं बस कह सकता हूँ, अरे बस नेट लाइफ बाय डिज़ाइन के सवाल का जवाब दे रहा हूँ और दा और यहाँ सवाल का जवाब है। उसे सूचना मिल जाएगी तो वो वापस आकर इसे देखेगी, लेकिन साथ ही ये एक बहुत ही अच्छा तरीका है, एक बहुत ही जल्दी सरल सामग्री बनाने का, किसी के द्वारा आपके पोस्ट पर पूछे गए सवाल का उपयोग करके, है ना? तो हाँ, उम्मीद है कि अब आपने देखा है उम्मीद है कि यह एक मज़ेदार छोटी चीज़ है जिसे आप में से कोई एक किसी समय उपयोग करना चाहेगा। ख़ैर दोस्तों, इससे पहले कि मैं कुछ और मूर्खतापूर्ण करूँ या और तकनीकी समस्याएँ पैदा करूँ, हम आज का समापन करने जा रहे हैं। और मैं चाहता हूँ कि आपका सप्ताह अद्भुत हो, लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात ये है कि मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप कुछ कार्रवाई करें। तो जैसे ही हम समाप्त कर रहे हैं, मुझे चैट में बताएँ कि आज हमने जो बात की है, उसके आधार पर आप क्या कार्रवाई करने जा रहे हैं, आप क्या करने जा रहे हैं। तो मुझे चैट में बताएँ कि वह एक चीज़ क्या होगी जो आप करने जा रहे हैं और मैं ये देखने के लिए इंतज़ार नहीं कर सकता कि आप लोग क्या लेकर आते हैं। ठीक है। हाँ, सही कहा लीना। बहुत ही शानदार, बहुत ही जल्दी और आसान। ठीक है, तो मोएज़ बोनस करने जा रहे हैं, मुझे ये बहुत पसंद है। ठीक है, हमारे पास सुनीता है जो एक माइक्रो स्टोरी करने जा रही है। हमारे पास कुछ लोग हैं जो रील आज़माने जा रहे हैं, तो मुझे ये पसंद है। जीना, हाँ, लेकिन जीना चिंता मत करो, ये खत्म हो गया है, लेकिन तुम रिकॉर्डिंग देख सकती हो, इसलिए घबराओ मत। मैंने आज तुम्हें कई रणनीतियाँ दी हैं जिन्हें तुम जाकर कर सकते हो। तो बस हम खत्म होने के बाद रिकॉर्डिंग देखो। ये हाल ही में मैं हूँ मोनिका, मुझे ये पसंद है और डेबरा के पास भी कुछ है। लीना लीड मैग्नेट पोस्ट करने वाली है। शानदार लीना, मैं निश्चित रूप से तुम्हें लीड मैग्नेट पोस्ट करते देखना चाहता हूँ। बहुत बढ़िया। ठीक है दोस्तों, इसे करो, इसके साथ मज़े करो और मैं आप सभी को अगले हफ्ते फिर से लाइव देखने के लिए इंतज़ार नहीं कर सकता। हमारे पास आपके लिए कुछ और रणनीतियाँ आ रही हैं। आप सभी का हफ्ता शानदार रहे। अभी के लिए अलविदा।